the summer camps, because like you said, now you're already starting the third term of the summer camp with all the kids. So
yeah, the summer is flying away, you know.
Yeah, really quickly.
The weather in Luxembourg, I think it's been many years that we haven't seen such a good weather in Luxembourg.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, the children should enjoy it also.
Yeah, I saw that some of them, I know you have what's the name? There's the camp leader. Her name is, again, I've forgotten. There's
Olena Berkovich.
Elena, yeah, that runs the project. And does she have like a team of volunteers helping her with the children?
Exactly. They have like over 10 volunteers, and actually those are people that are themselves refugees.
Okay.
So I like to work with children. So we, of course, it's being remunerated, so they get something for the job, because they are 5 days a week. I don't know, 8 to 9 hours a day.
Yeah,
so
it's a proper. It's like a full-time job kind of. Yeah, but we don't have to spend the whole time talking about this, but it is interesting because I've seen some of the trips they've been going on. Was that part of the summer camp as well, like to an animal kind of park? And yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, the summer camp is great. The work with children is simply great, because those are really pure human beings, and we try to do maximum we can. If we have the opportunity to put them to go with them somewhere in the park or something, we do it. And as we talk more and more about the summer camp, so the Super U camp, more and more people are joining in our efforts. So for example, I just got a call today from my stepfather, who said, okay, I'm meeting these guys this afternoon, and I can arrange a bus for you, and we can pay with the company the trip to Parc Merveilleux in Bettemburg.
Great, yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. And there is another club who said, okay, we will cover some additional costs if you can host another more children, and we can do more trips with children. So it's good. We are happy that it's going like this. So probably if everything goes good, we'll try to make even the fourth term, but it's still to be discussed. Sure. When we have the location in Leutelange. And anyhow, it will continue in the new school year, but not on the same basis. But basically, we'll do as we did earlier every Saturday, the camp for the children. So it was ongoing since April, if I'm not mistaken, and now we will just continue doing this. And we are waiting for some good news from Ministry of Education, and if everything goes well, we might reopen the Ukrainian school.
Okay, very good.
We had Ukrainian school that was open on the weekend, so basically 1 day a week, and we had to close it due to the coronavirus. But now it's a moment, and we are waiting for the good news from the ministry regarding the locations, and if they announce those, we will do the Ukrainian school once again. So I'm really thrilled, and I'm waiting for those news when people come back from holidays. But that's just great, you know.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
We have different activities in the summer camp, and every day has its own topic. So the history of Luxembourg, the history of Ukraine. So we try to do it multicultural, to integrate those children through. But all the thoughts are still in Ukraine. So all the all the pictures we have, and all these stories are Ukraine related. And yeah, so that's motivation. Even more when you hear that it comes from really children, young people, you say, okay, even if you're tired, you will rest when you die, you know.
I know. I think it's important, like you said as well in the past, the whole point of this Super U camp as well was to give them kind of a chance at somehow normal summer, you know, and to enjoy the nice weather, to enjoy time in Luxembourg as much as they can, while always having this in their mind, of course, the war in Ukraine, but trying to give them this kind of normality a little bit as well, and a break for the parents who are maybe going to language courses or different integration courses, and trying to find jobs or going to work. And it's, yeah. And
as I told many times, for us, personality is always in the middle. So we put people in the middle, and we think what should we do around them, and try to motivate them, trying to discover them, and trying to show them to the rest of the world. But there is always a but.
Yeah.
This but actually is those children who cannot go to holidays who are still in Ukraine, and our partners actually, they're trying to bring them to other countries, at least for a week or two for the summer holidays as well. So one should think that it's always good to think about the people who are near you, but those are only the consequences of the events happening in Ukraine, the war Russia started against Ukraine.
Yeah, no, of course. And one question I had as well, because we touched on recently about, obviously with the summer break, a lot of people going away. I mean, people like other Luxembourg residents, and that donations had maybe decreased, and we're hoping for that this will pick up when they come back in September. But have the current main needs of Ukrainian refugees in Luxembourg, have they changed in recent weeks or months? I know obviously there's always the basic need for food and hygiene products, but is there anything related to school supplies or anything like this, or was this already part of it before?
We have distributed the school supplies when children started the school. It might be a good idea to make it once again in September, but if I'm not mistaken, the Ministry of Education should provide children with all they need.
Okay.
This information is actually to be checked. And if we talk about the current needs of the refugees, they have been unchanged. Okay. So basically, it's of financial resources and housing. So housing is still a big problem in Luxembourg. So out of 5,000 refugees, more than 50% are still living in host families, and we should do something about that. I have talked about it so many times, and eventually we'll get to a sustainable solution.
Yeah, sure.
I really hope, at least, that's something to be done, and of course, there are many cases that shows us that it may be that the winter will be not easy, so we have to be prepared.
Of course, yeah, because now we're talking about the end of February, and the first refugees really coming kind of in March to Luxembourg, and it's already several months now. But like you said, winter is fast approaching. Of course, that's something else that will need to be addressed.
By the way, talking about the winter, yeah, there are actually many European citizens who argue about what should we do without Russian gas and when it cuts, and I think that people don't really understand what they will live, and it's not that the heating will be cut.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, the average temperature that they used to have for heating, it will be lowered by maybe 2 to 3 degrees. So it won't be like a big history, even though I think every one of us is ready to live in a place which is 2 or 3 degrees colder than usual in winter. Yeah. To save lives, actually.
But no, you were saying anyway about, yeah, that most of us will be, I mean, should be happy enough, you know, to sacrifice a couple of degrees of heat in the winter to save lives, of course. Yeah. Maybe put our jumpers on, a little bit more clothes, you know, and just like basic kind of things that you can do to reduce your use of gas and energy.
Talking about, yeah, exactly. Talking about the sacrifice, and the sacrifice that Ukrainian people are actually giving right now, it's just tremendous.
Yeah.
And many people and many medias in the Western countries of Europe sometimes say, okay, why wouldn't you just give up? And that's the question I hear often right now, and I want to answer to this question. And I want people to understand what would happen if Ukraine surrendered.
Sure.
So what's the next step? Were repressions, violence, some concentration camps? Would it be better than fight for your freedom, fight against evil, and even if you risk dying, you will die in a dignity, rather than being occupied with all the consequences of this occupation? Would it be okay for the European Union knowing that people still continue to die, but they're being violated, they're being raped? I don't think so. So I think this question should be just simply closed. There is no way of surrendering, and no one will surrender, because surrendering means death for us.
No, thank you for addressing that question as well. I think it is very important and it's very relevant. And the longer the war goes on, you get more, and well, a few more people saying, you know, well, just like, yeah, just let's have a ceasefire, or, you know, surrender certain parts of your country. But if it was, you don't understand if it were your country, or, you know, or does it end there? And yeah.
You just cannot, you know, allow a robber who got in your house and occupied the room to say, okay, don't take the rest of the rooms, keep this room, but we will live together in peace. It's just impossible in this world, in civilized world. I mean, come on. I don't really understand. I don't really think that people do understand the consequences of those words and those decisions. So that's simply why I try to explain what will be the next steps of Russia on the occupied territories if those territories are surrendered. So it's a complete misery, even worse than just being killed by a bomb. Even worse, or even, well, I know people who are fighting, they know what they fight for, and that we know that we are on the good side of history and actually trying to fight against the evil. We all seem like, I don't know, the worst thing that can happen here in Europe, the biggest continental war since the end of the Second World War.
Yeah,
really, and that's crazy. And actually, there is a but. We're talking about those words. We can see that the Russians actually are trying to blackmail Ukrainians by saying that we will blow up the biggest nuclear plant in Europe.
Yeah, there's this nuclear question as well, of course. Yeah.
That's actually the people you want to negotiate with. I mean, I talk now to those people who propose to surrender.
Yeah.
There is no negotiation with terrorists who actually put under the danger not only the people of Ukraine, but basically the people of the whole world. We are talking about international terrorists, and I want to thank our Latvian colleagues.
Okay. Yeah.
Who have recognized Russian Federation as a terrorist state. I think it's a good path to follow, and one should understand there is a collective responsibility. And if our colleagues from Latvia try to appeal to other countries to ban the visas for Russian, I think not be able to travel to the European Union is not as bad as being killed. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts coming back to? Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. No, I let you add the question because sometimes I want to talk.
I just wanted to ask your thoughts on the recent, it's not that recent now, but a couple of weeks ago, you know, with the EU and Luxembourg agreeing as well, coming back to the gas to cut to kind of reduce their dependency on natural gas, and thus, you know, reduce the dependency on Russian natural gas. Do you think it's enough? Do you think it'll help in some way to put an end, or will it hurt Russia enough, if you know what I mean? Kind of.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think every level of sanctions, it's another drop, in the glass that gets more full. You know, and at some moment it will hurt so much. So people, and I really hope that the Russian people will once understand what are the real consequences of this war, what they will face in the near future. And I think most of people who are born in 80s and earlier, they all know what was happening in Russia and other post-Soviet countries in 90s. It's just awful, that the major crisis, and they will face it. Definitely, because there is no way of coming back. There is actually one way of coming back, probably to trying to remove the decision makers in Russia, just trying to show that they tried to change. But so far we see only support and unwillingness to change things. So how much time it will take for them to understand, I don't know. It's a big propaganda machine. I think that's that's an art of lying. Lie hard. I call it just lie. You have to invent the liest lie that the world has ever heard. That's the way of doing of Russia. And that's just crazy. How can you speak with those people who lies to you every time? But there is a still small chance to reduce this social and the social responsibility of the Russian people for the actions of their country. They have to try it.
And hopefully, like you said, we don't know how long it will take for that, but with the different sanctions and
exactly, and especially they will pay for reconstruction of Ukraine, for everything they have destroyed in Ukraine, for every life lost during this war. Russian people will pay, and I hope that the responsibles, the direct responsibles of this war, will face the judgment in the international court.
Yeah,
that's the only way. And I'm looking forward to it. I know, and we have seen the recent events in Crimea, so they should know that now it's a breaking point, and we have to keep fighting. We still need a lot of support, especially military support from other countries, and financial support and humanitarian support. So it's not something that you do once and then it's I've helped enough.
Because the war is ongoing, so the support should also
be systematic. That's the answer. And I really hope that European people do understand what does it mean. So if you say I support, you should go to the end, because if you stop at one moment, the whole idea is at risk. Yeah. The whole actually European system is at risk.
We will see then. Obviously, it's still we discussed it last week, quite a quiet summer time. I mean, with people from Luxembourg and other countries going abroad. So just hopefully there'll be that momentum that comes back, in September, a renewed will to support this cause. And yeah, not just for Ukrainian refugees in Luxembourg, of course, with the basic needs that need to be filled sustainably, but also then in terms of humanitarian and military aid going to Ukraine.
Well, yeah, so that's more the question for the governments, not the people, but people can ask their governments. So everyone should do its own thing. So everything we can, and together we can create a history of something that everyone else will be proud of.
Perfect. No, sounds good. There's a note of optimism, hopefulness in this message, in the dreary news, like the dreary context that it is. So that's always good that we have that little light in the darkness to go forward to.
I must say that I'm so proud of Ukrainian people, being Ukrainian myself, but I cannot say I'm proud of myself, because everything we do here, it's just not enough. We feel that it's not enough. It's never enough during the war. But Ukrainian people, like a nation, it's like a phoenix, I must say, that was reborn during this war. And this phoenix actually showed to the whole world how people should resist if they don't like something, how they should resist to an aggressor, to any violence. So you should be definitive with your actions and answers. So I really wish that the world will take another round of rethinking how the collective security works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we lived too many years in the peace, and Europe actually wasn't waiting for this type of war happening on the European continent. That's why we have to rethink the approach towards our neighbors, toward the politics, because it's not something new actually. We have seen so many crimes done by Russia, killing Russian citizen on the European territory, or something even worse. I think you cannot tolerate this. So